I'm good, as you can see, running around doing a million things, but
I
making time for this interview.
I appreciate it. I don't want to take too much of your time, but this year is like very iconic for you. It's the 30th anniversary of Bronx Tale and the 25th of Belly. And you portrayed two of the most iconic characters of all time. Looking back, seeing like how far the characters have come in your career, did you think they would be as iconic as they are today?
Absolutely not. I did not. I knew they were good movies, but um, I think the signature that they have put in history, on history, is mind baffling to me. It's mind blowing, actually. That wow, 30 years later, we're still talking about these films that I did when I was a little girl, so to say, a teenager still. Like a Bronx Tale, I filmed when I was 17 years old. And Belly, I think I was around 21 ish, something like that.
First off, you look the same. Bronx Tale was your actual feature film debut, as
Yes.
well as it was also Robert De Niro's directorial debut. I know they were big at that time, but like, were you like starstruck working with them?
Okay, so I'm a little embarrassed to say this, but I really did not know who Robert De Niro was when I auditioned for the film. I grew up in church and we didn't watch a lot of TV. We didn't do a lot of, outside activity. I also was a theater kid. So most of my time was occupied, in the theater, working and going to school. So I didn't really keep up with what was happening in the movies. I come from a large family, there's five of us, and we didn't do the movie theater a lot. So I didn't really know who they were. And when I got there and I just started to see everyone making over them, I'm like, okay, who is this? They're like, it's Robert De Niro. They call him Bob, but he's iconic. He's all the movies that he played in, and I'm like, I know none of them, but okay, I'm just gonna show him what I got. And I think that is probably what helped me to win the role. That I really went there with no intimidation or my nerves weren't shook. Of course, everyone's nervous before they do anything. There's you know, nerve that kind of,
Because you like doing it.
yes, exactly. Exactly. Um, I came like fresh off the theater stage and just ready to land my next thing. And so I just wasn't intimidated. I just wanted to get the role. So I think that I was more so competitive than nervous or starstruck. I was just like, it's way too many girls here. And I've got to knock these chicks out the box. So let's go. And that really was what was on my mind.
First off, I'm sorry, I have to backpedal. You were a church kid in theater, but
Mm-hmm.
you played these roles. It felt like it was an embodiment of you. So that's why I'm
Well,
like,
I mean, a Bronx Tale, that was easy for me to embrace because Jane was very sweet and sassy. Most church girls are that. So that was easy. And the fact that I am originally from the Bronx. So I know I have a Bronx attitude because that's who I am. That's where I was raised, where I grew up, where I went to high school. I went to Grace Dodge High until my senior year, and then we moved to Jersey. But I knew what it was to be Jane. She was me, I was her. So it was easy to play her. And as far as Kisha, I like to call her Jane's alter ego because she was totally different. But again, I grew up in the projects. So that's where that rough edge came from. I saw a gazillion Kishas around. Although I wasn't an active Keisha, there were so many of them around me that I could just say, oh, I remember this chick, and I remember that girl, and I remember how she used to act, and I remember when she was dating the drug dealer boyfriend. And then so I mixed that. I kind of made like a little gumbo for this character. I mixed those ideas in with all of the supermodels that I loved at the time, who were Tyra Banks and Naomi Campbell, and just all of the it chicks of the 90s, and I took those attitudes mixed with the Bronx, mixed with the project girl, and you got Kisha. She was born.
I'm so surprised because like your attitude and how you approach both characters, like they were different forms, but they were still that like you were a very strong character. Even now, it resonates because of like how strong she was in her own stance. Like you did this to my brother. Like I love it because it's like respect. Speaking of Kisha, one thing that I really did love about what the way this movie did, I mean, you were half naked in a lot of the scenes, but they made it look so tasteful, and it definitely has a lot to do with the way Hype Williams, like his signature way of shooting, but also transcending through the generations. You're also dark skinned, so it's also like very positive. So you were like the it girl, and I think it's something that people still praise and discuss because although yeah, you were half naked, but you also looked beautiful. And as far as representation comes, how do you feel about like being that character?
You know, at the time that I filmed her, I didn't know that she would become this iconic sex symbol, so to say. But for me, like I said, back in those days, what was really popular were the Victoria's Secret models. And so I envisioned when they told me, okay, well, you're going to be in a bra and panty set. And I was like, really? Like, really? That's all I'm wearing. So at the time, June Ambrose, the famous June, was the stylist, and she was like, honey, darling, we're getting ready to put you in some thousands of dollars La Perla lingerie, and it's going to be top of the notch. And I think that made me comfortable because I was like, you know what? If they cast me for a Victoria's Secret ad tomorrow, I probably would say yes and be in this same outfit with all the rest of the models
Very
that are
true.
this outfit. So that's how I looked at it. Like, I am modeling some fabulous lingerie right now. And Kisha just happened to kill it. And the lighting and the skin tone and all of that just was amazing. And it just all worked out. So that's how I look at that. Not so much that I was half naked. I was though, but but I look at it like, look, we see these kind of ads all over the place, and none of us are in them. You know what I'm saying? My
No,
complexion,
true.
we're not in these ads. So okay, I took the assignment, and I think I did well with the assignment.
Your singing is what actually introduced you to Hype Williams and played a part in you getting this role. Is that what made
No,
you take it? Oh no.
actually, no, no.
Oh,
Hyde, like everyone else in the world, discovered me through A Bronx Tale. He saw the movie. He loved the movie. He reached out to my agent. He said, I'm working on a video. I've got to have this girl in it. And that first video that I've ever did, well, that video was Usher Raymond's Think of You. That's our initial first meeting with each other. And after that, I guess I kind of became his muse. He was just putting me in everything. And it was good times. It was fun times. I was that chocolate girl.
you absolutely were. And you played with DMX, the late, great DMX. How was it working with him?
DMX was a very kind soul. Very, very different from, well, let me say Earl was different from the rapper. My encounter was with Earl, not so much DMX. Earl was shy, polite, kind, was quoting scriptures all the time. But now that I look back, it was weird on set that he would do that. I'm like, are you in the right profession? Maybe you should be a preacher. Maybe you shouldn't be a rapper. But I realized that that's what he used for his peace of mind. The word comforted him. So that's what he would spit out occasionally. And he was a little nervous to work with me because to him, I was a seasoned actress. And this was his first film. But after he shook the nerves, I mean, we created magic. We created magic. And I'm happy for those memories with him. I'm happy that I got to experience his brilliance because he is brilliant.
Over the years, when it comes to your career and playing these roles, Have you stayed in touch with people? What has that? I know you and C, because there's this infamous photo. You guys met up. You
Yeah,
and
I
C.
talk all the time. His name is Lilo Brancato. We talk all the time. I still speak with Hype often. Um, Nas every now and then online. Actually, Method Man, I just recently spoke to him because we celebrated Kisha at the Roller Wave House in Brooklyn with a skate party. And I got a chance to catch up with him for a minute, and he just really, made a super dope video for me, just saying how cool it was working with me and, how it was very professional. And I appreciate that because it's been many, many years. And that's something that I didn't know at the time. For
Yeah.
him to say that almost 25 years later, it's like, oh, okay, well, if that's the impression that I left in your heart, I'm so happy with that because I just always wanted to be known for my professionalism and, my work attitude and my respect for others and their art.
How did you navigate? You worked two different sets, but you worked in a set with, I would say, seasoned Italian actors, and then
Mm-hmm.
you worked a set with rappers. What was what was the different, dynamic?
Dynamic was, let me see, on a Bronx Tale, I mean, everything was top notch. I mean, top notch. Robert De Niro played no games. I mean, we had the works. It was almost like we were A-list actors and actresses on that set. Um, so that's one. That was a very upscale movie with a very large budget.
Right.
So it was limitless. Everything was happening, and we were kids, and we were just blown away by the experience, and knew from that experience that this is kind of what we wanted to do for the rest of our lives because we loved, how we were treated, and just the overall workday was amazing. Belly was a good experience again because I really got to flex my acting skills on Belly and working with the rappers. It was different because a lot of them hadn't filmed before. So they were just coming in like, learning their stuff, filling it out, feeding off of whoever they needed to feed off of to, get their character together. I think for me, it was more of I'm going to really show my acting skills on this film. And, wherever I could be a help, I'm going to be a help. If someone needs assistance with their character, I'm going to help them get that in check. So for me, that I got to really become a part of Belly on a creative tip more so than a Bronx Tale. Everything was just already laid out. It's like
Yeah.
I was coming in the genius land. And over here, it's like, we're experimenting, we're figuring this out, we're making it gel, we're going to keep doing it until we get it right, that type of thing. So that was the difference for me.
I like that because I feel like, the first one is a lot more like, wow, this is a set, and the other one actually allowed you to use your training like behind the scenes and make sure it, continued. I just want to okay, so we first get introduced to your character, a lot more feisty, but then, the jail scene, that emotion, I was like, that's real. And then just even the previous conversation in which you were talking about, like, I should probably leave him alone, I'm jumping around, but just to see all the emotions, because I would say this film, you did a lot more emotions. Do you have a favorite moment, scene in each movie?
Okay, so A Bronx Tale, I love the bus scene. I love
Really?
that because it's very hard to show emotions without words. And so in those scenes, I had to let the audience know that I was attracted to him. I was feeling him, and my eyes had to do all the work. And that's extremely hard.
Well, you
Because
did it.
well, I'm saying you can either come off looking dope or you can come off looking stupid. So the whole time that I was doing it, I was just like, I hope I'm not looking dumb right
No,
now.
you did it. But I know that feeling of like how I think I look versus how I really do.
Right. Exactly. It's kind of like the nerd that does things and They think they're doing it, killing it, but we see it another way. That was kind of how I felt. So I was just like, but once Robert looked at the playback and he basically was like, yes, whatever you're doing, keep doing it. That's it. Those are the looks. So I was like, okay, that worked. So I think it was a challenging scene, but it read well.
Yeah, it's so funny you said that because now that I'm thinking about it, yeah, no words, but it was literally like in it, it also showed your level of dominance because it showed that you're not afraid to go after what you want, which is something that most of the time when a female likes a guy, she looks away. It's that shyness. But you were
Yeah.
like, nope, I see you. I like you. It
Right.
definitely was received well. Would you say, because I have my favorite scene, like this scene actually changed the way I went about life. I was too young to even date, but I was
Mhm.
like the whole like door scene. It just became so iconic. Just across to women across the world. I don't know why we all were just like, dude, we always unlock the door, even though now they're, electronic.
Mhm.
But what would you say is probably the most famous scene or like most quoted scene that people tell you?
Definitely the door test. You named it. It's the door test. And when I saw Meghan Markle reenact that scene at her wedding, I was like, oh my goodness, she's doing a Bronx Tale right now. No, they're not saying my name, but everybody know what that is. Everybody knows what she's doing right now. That's from me, which means the Princess of Wales has seen a Bronx Tale and has seen my face, and her husband, the prince, they're there. So I don't know. I felt accomplished in that moment. Like, wow, they're doing this. And everybody kept tagging me. Did you see this? Did you see this? Did you see this? And I'm like, yeah, that's the one. That's the scene. That goes down in history.
You really hit two iconic films across just culture and generations. With it being the 50th anniversary and another milestone for Belly, how does it feel to be a hip hop iconic film in a sense or have one?
It feels great. It feels good. And it feels even better to know that they are giving this character, well, the world is giving this character long life. Like, I feel like she's going to live forever. I feel like she's, going to be talked about for many, many, many years to come, and maybe even after I'm gone.
Absolutely. Rapped about,
So,
talked about.
yeah. So, I mean, that feels great because that's all we ever want to do in life is leave our mark some kind of way.
Yeah.
And between A Bronx Tale and Belly, I think that I'm leaving a few marks and I'm not done. So I'm not going to end it there,
Yeah.
I still have so much more in my life to accomplish and to achieve. But like you said, it's great to have started with such, iconic movies and movies that are standing the test of time.
Was there ever a chance that you wouldn't have done them? Was there a possibility ever?
Yes, I was very, very reluctant about Belly just because of a lot of the scenes. Well, actually, the sex scene was never in there. That was never even in the script. And what a lot of people don't even know is that that's not even me in that scene. I wasn't even there on set when they filmed that. You see him throw me down to the bed or whatever to the floor, and you see me wake up. I had no idea what went on in between until edits happened and the premiere came and I'm sitting next to my mother and we're both like, she's like, I know you didn't do that. I was like, no, I didn't do that. I was like, well, thanks, hi, thank you. But again, we live and we learn. And back then, I didn't know that, when you don't have control over the character, the edits can go wherever they want to go unless you write that in writing
Right.
that you're not going to do X, Y, and Z. But it's okay. Like I said, it's a lesson learned. And the time that it came out, I was able to go on Angie Martinez's show, Wendy Williams, and talk to all of them and say, y'all have not seen my naked parts. Nobody has seen those but my husband. So the person that you're looking at is not me. It's a body double. And if you actually go back, now this is for the audience. If y'all go back and look at the scene, you notice that that face is never shown in that scene. The person has on the China doll wig, like my hair was cut, and it's back shots. You never see her face, and then it cuts back to my face. So that those are tricks of film. But yeah, that wasn't me. But because her character was so raw and it was totally different from what I had played, you know, as far as Jane was concerned, yes, I had some, preservations. I was like, I don't know if I want to do this because she's bad. Like, she's bad. She
Yeah,
basically, she was so ahead of her time because she is actually what we get to look at on TV on a regular now. And you
absolutely.
couldn't really see those things back then. Like you couldn't hear a female talking like that on a regular BT show or BT Plus or whatever you want to call it. You couldn't hear, but now it's normal.
Yeah,
It's common language. It's the bad B era, but she was the original way back in the 90s. So yeah, I mean, I was reluctant, but I'm glad that I went through with it because again, as an actress, it really showed my versatility and how far I could stretch myself and make you all believe something that is completely not true. So,
and
you know,
something so far from you.
yeah,
That's to me the most impressive. I'm like, you're nothing
yeah,
like her because
nothing. I don't even curse. Like I don't even use profanity. Like I never have. Like it's not a part of my language. Like I don't. I don't
wow.
use it to speak. But so that was challenging for me. I'm like, I don't even sound right cursing. Like I don't even sound right.
Well,
Using
you did.
like, you know, I had to go to somebody else
Yeah.
to couldn't do it. I had to be somebody else. So yeah.
Listen, I just want to say thank you. I did have like
Oh,
101, but like I really enjoyed talking to you. I know you have a lot more projects. Like your resume
yeah.
is long.
The audience can stream Gaslight. That's on all the streaming platforms. Father's Pride. That one's on Tubi. Gaslight you can stream on Apple. You can stream on Spotify. A few other. Oh, it's on All Black too because that's really good. I think the audience is going to enjoy that from me. And then now currently I'm working on my EP. I'm still singing, still doing music. I've been doing some city winery shows and that's really, really fun. So yeah, your girl is back. Just look out for me, I'm back.
Perfect.